Hello, this is Storm Warden coming at you today with another video update. And today we're going to talk about 91L and the increasing potential for a hurricane here in the Gulf of Mexico, particularly the western Gulf Coast. And then we're going to get into everything that's lining up for this storm. And then we're going to talk about some caveats, as there's always a caveat when it comes to meteorology and weather and all that. So if you've been liking my weather content, please subscribe. I will give you guys daily weather updates, bearing nothing crazy happens in my life. But I try my best to give you guys daily weather updates and just keep you guys aware, as I am your storm warden. So it is my job to keep you guys warned of any upcoming storms. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it because we have a lot to talk about today. Starting with IR satellite, and here we are looking at 91L. This is our storm, guys, and as of now, it's blowing the convection really well. We're seeing nice little bursts. Granted, it's still a little disorganized or disassociated with this mid-level flow, but overall, this storm is still in a good spot, and this will allow for, and as this storm gets together, it will start to strengthen. I could not put my words together right there, guys, so sorry about that. But we're gonna move over to the Hurricane Center's outlook, and guys, we're at a 90% chance of cyclone formation. More, it's almost a guarantee now that this becomes Francine, that we get a storm out of this. How powerful? There's still questions up in the air, but I'm telling you guys, model trends have not been looking good for areas along the Gulf Coast. We've been seeing some strengthening model runs that are favoring more strengthening, a further east track. All that does is just increase the probability of us seeing a hurricane here in the Gulf of Mexico. So, and I just want to show you guys just one more time, nice little look at 91L. But here's what we're going to get into, the model guidance, which is, I'm pretty sure this is what everybody wants to see. I want to let you know before I show you this, no model is the gospel. The model guidance is here to give us a whole bunch of solutions so that we can make an accurate forecast. So some of these models are going to show some really extreme solutions, and some of these are going to show very weak solutions. But our job is to find a middle ground and to make the most accurate representation of what may happen, bearing all the atmospheric conditions and all that. So let me stop going on a ramble there. Here we have the GFS model. This is fresh. I mean, the whole model run is it's only at 120 hours. So this literally just came out. As we're going through time, and guys, I want to note, the 12Z models have a lot more data than 06Z and 18Z runs. So that 12Z and that 00Z runs are typically the most accurate. So I just want to keep that in mind. But we're going through time. The GFS shows a major hurricane, guys. You see this little piece of energy right here? Look how it just develops really rapidly, and we get all the way down to 957 millibar hurricane. Guys, that's a major hurricane headed towards Louisiana right there. Now, this is just one model. This is the GFS model, but it shows a major hurricane headed right towards you guys here in Louisiana. If that happens, we're looking at a really dangerous situation here along the Gulf Coast. Now, this is only one model. So don't go crazy. But again, the GFS, ever since yesterday, I'm telling you guys, has been trending east. Look at this trend I'm about to show you. I'm gonna go forward and just watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Each run is only strengthened this storm. So if we continue to see these little small ticks east, this storm could be even stronger. Look at this, a 957 millibar hurricane in an environment that's full of warm ocean waters, very low shear, and not a ton of dry air at least up until it gets towards the coast. But this is a very dangerous looking scenario by the GFS. But I'm gonna switch over to the Euro, which shows a little bit of a weaker system. This is 06Z, and here we're going through time. In the Euro, it only drops us down to a tropical depression. Now, granted, as I stated the other day, each model has their own bias. The Euro has a very weak bias. I'm quite certain that at some point the Euro is gonna start latching on to these Eastern trends and probably show a much stronger solution. So right now the euro's on a weaker side of guidance, but there it does have a weak bias. So I don't want to say I don't want to take this model in consideration, but I just don't take it too serious in moments like this because it's showing this tropical depression status. I showed you guys our satellite. If anything, it looks like it's already headed there. So more than likely, this thing at least gets tropical storm status, in my opinion. I think the highest ceiling this could get, in my opinion, is maybe low end Cat 2 hurricane. I think, but hey, that it may even exceed my expectations. So, but we'll get into my overall thoughts as we always do towards the end of the video. Now, here's a 12Z run of the Canadian model. This just came out. It's only 90 hours in. It may be a little bit further now, but it's only at 90 hours, and we're going through time. And look, even the Canadian model strengthened this storm pretty significantly. It gets it down to a strong tropical storm, low wind Cat 1 hurricane. And I gotta tell you, even the Canadian model, it's been ticking east. And notice as it ticks east and it ticks south, notice how it gets stronger. Because the more you tick this storm east and south, the closer it is, number one, to the warm ocean waters, but two, the more time it has over water. The more time you give a organized system in the Gulf of Mexico, more time over water, the more time that happens, the increasing probability that we're looking at a much more dire situation here. So the Canadian model, ever so slightly, has been shifting east southeast over the last few model runs. So that is certainly something to keep an eye on, because if we keep seeing these models take east like this, guys, we're looking at a totally different situation here. I'm telling you guys right now. Here's a 12Z Icon model, and this just came out as well. I mean, all these models are pretty much fresh, and we're going through time. And the Icon model has been consistent in showing a very strong tropical storm to a low-end Cat 1 hurricane hitting Louisiana. So the Icon model has been consistent in showing this scenario, which is certainly on the table. Again, this will also be impactful. But again, the Icon model has led the way once again with this system. It was showing this last week, and now all the models are latching on to the point where we may be looking at a hurricane here in the next few days. But that's the Icon model. It gets us down to a strong tropical storm, low end Cat 1 hurricane headed right towards Louisiana. Now, here's the Euro AI model, which has also been quite consistent, just like the Icon model, and it too brings us down to a strong tropical storm to a low end Cat 1 hurricane. So model solutions are trending up. If anything, they're trending up, and the Euro AI model is also trending east. So all suffice to say, guys, things are increasing here in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, I want to bring your attention to this day 3 excessive rainfall outlook by the Weather Prediction Center. And here we have a slight risk right along that Gulf Coast. Now, this just colors our uncertainty right now. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a red and maybe even a 70% area in some of these areas some point, because there's going to be a ton of rainfall along the Gulf Coast, particularly from about eastern Texas towards Louisiana. This area right up in here, I'll draw it on your screen just so you can see, just like I can. Right, this area right in here could definitely see the highest potential for some heavy rain from this system. So again, this system is ever so changing. We're getting new developments every hour, but based on what I've seen, this is actually uptrending. Here's just a close look at rainfall totals by the end of next week, and yeah, we're seeing like 6+ inch totals of rainfall in just a couple of days. This will most certainly increase the heavy rain probability, but not only that, the flash flooding probability. So overall, guys, if you're in Louisiana, particularly from about that Jasper, Texas, southward, eastward into Lake Charles, Alexandria, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, points east, you guys are definitely going to be under the gun for some significant conditions later on this week. Now, I talked your head off about all the factors going into this storm. Now we're going to talk about some caveats. What could lower the potential ceiling? We have a cold front moving through later on, or early this week. Just as our system is coming in. This is going to help do two things. One, what this is going to do is as this system approaches this jet streak, it may actually help this help divergence, and it may actually help this system get even stronger. But another thing that this cold front may do, you can kind of see it right in here with the bars. It may also help impart shear over the storm because as the storm approaches the coast, you're gonna have some shear to deal with from that trough, but also dry air from the trough as well. So it may be one of those situations where we have significant rapid intensification all the way up to the coast, and then we have rapid I can't think of the words. Storm basically weakens very very quickly. Um, so it may be one of the weird situations where we might have like a Cat 1 or a Cat 2 hurricane headed right towards you guys, Louisiana. But as soon as it gets to that coast, it weakens very, very quickly from dry air and shear from our cold front. So those are some things to watch out for because we could certainly see some shear from this cold front, which may actually help to not allow the storm to really intensify like some models show. But um, if anything, though, I think this trough will actually help, as especially approach to that jet streak and you get some divergence aloft. That may actually help this system really, really be able to take off. So we'll watch because we've seen systems like this before when they approach these jet streaks and they like to just strengthen rapidly, especially in an area that's characterized by very, very high warm ocean waters. Guys, I mean, this system really, I mean, to be honest, if it's not, straggling along this coast of Texas, we're looking at a pretty dangerous situation here, in my opinion. And here's just another look at that dry air potential here in Texas and Louisiana. And here's our trough right here. Um, our trough is located right about here. You can kind of see it because you can just see all the dry air just to the north of this system, and then you see all the moisture that this system has with it. But as this system approaches that dry air, it should weaken quite rapidly as it approaches the Louisiana coast. So that is something to watch out for because what's going to happen is the dry air is probably going to get into the center of that circulation and it's going to get on the back side. And what's going to happen is it's going to rapidly decay this system. So it may be one of those really weird systems where we have rapid intensification all the way up to landfall, but this system rapidly decays by the time it makes landfall here, possibly in Louisiana, eastern Louisiana, based off the GFS model. So that is certainly something to watch. But I've been talking about these warm ocean waters. If we get a system to form, or we get this system to push east, like models are trending right now in this area of the Gulf of Mexico, we're looking at a dangerous situation, guys. There's hardly any shear in this area. There's no dry air, and there's very warm ocean waters. Everything's pointing to this system having at least a small period of time, rapid intensification before our trough comes in and imparts some shear over our storm and some dry air. But I think that'll be something to watch long term because you know another thing that I was looking at is how small and compact this storm looks. Look how small this storm looks. Now granted, it looks like this storm has gotten a little bit bigger off the GFS, but a couple model runs ago, it was actually showing a more small, compact core storm, which they typically strengthen pretty nicely and develop nicely as well. But sometimes what those storms like to do too is they like to rapidly intensify. Whenever you have a really small, compact storm like that, it's really easy for them to hold all that moisture in, create a moisture bubble. Um, Such as compared to large waves, which can sometimes allow dry air to sneak into that core. So it's definitely something to watch. But overall, guys, this looks like a pretty dangerous situation for the Gulf Coast. I would keep my eye on this. I mean, we're at a 90% chance of formation, so it's a guarantee that we're going to get Francine out of this. Maybe as early as tonight, possibly. Maybe even later on this afternoon. Who knows? The way this storm's looking already, it looks to be blowing the convection really good. But again, this is fresh, new model guidance, and models are uptrending. They're on the uptrend. I'm leaning. My ceiling is I think this will probably get up to a Cat 1 hurricane, but I think the highest ceiling this can get is probably a low end Cat 2. because I do think that as this system gets closer to the coast, you're going to have some shear and some dry air that will impart in this storm, which will kind of tear apart the storm. So I think that'll take down the ceiling just a little bit. But overall, guys, I mean, before that gets close to land, if we get a try at the GFS, I really don't know what's stopping this system from really rapidly intensifying up until land. I just think that it's going to be one of those situations where we have a rapidly intensifying hurricane, but it weakens very quickly from shear and dry air from our trough that we've been forecasting here in the eastern part of the country over the last few weeks. So, again, overall, we're looking at a pretty dangerous situation here along the Gulf Coast, in my opinion. Warm ocean waters, no shear, no dry air, at least until we get closer to the Gulf Coast. So overall, guys, that's my latest update on this. Again, if you're along that Gulf Coast, particularly Louisiana and Texas, you're looking at a particularly maybe looking at a pretty dangerous situation later on this week. So I'll keep you guys weather aware on that. But for now, that's it for me today.